All right, here now to weigh in, Mr. Wonderful himself, the chairman of O'Leary Ventures, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, thank you so much for giving us some of your time this morning. I want to start with the jobs report. You know, revisions are not necessarily out of the ordinary, but the revisions for May and June certainly much larger than normal. So I'd like to hear from the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, who had this reaction to the numbers.
Obviously, there were elements of it that we didn't love, but the trade deals are now in place that cover, including the U.S., almost 60% of the global economy. Huge deal for America, like huge investments coming in, commitments to purchase everything from energy to defense products. The One Big Beautiful Bill is now law. It contains enormously powerful incentives for investing in America, for working in America, for locating in America, and these are both going to be massive tailwinds for the economy that are going to create an economic boom coming up. Neither of these were true in either of the months that experienced the downward revisions to the payroll data, but they are true now. All
right, so Stephen Mayer in there is seeming to say the positive effects of the president's various trade deals, the big beautiful bill, not going to show up in the numbers just yet. So we turn to you, Kevin. Talk about the significance of the downward revisions.
That was a masterful attempt to get people to look forward, not backwards, to the revised print. They were concerning. They were larger than anticipated. And so, as you know, the Fed has a dual mandate, inflation and full employment. Does this give the Fed a reason to do a rate cut in September is what the market wants to know. And the volatility today, which it is volatile because the market was down a lot more earlier. It's recovered about 40% of its losses so far. We'll see how it ends on the day. Is more about the instability of the trade negotiations going on right now. And so I look at a print like that, a job print, as one data point. I'm going to continue to invest to the end of this year, assuming there's no Fed cuts, zero, because I think they're more concerned about inflation than anything else. And so if we had another print that was a very negative jobs number, maybe that would start to move them off the mark. But it's not enough. I hate to say that. But every investor has to make their own decision. And people have been talking about multiple rate cuts now for months, and none of them have come. I think inflation is a little stickier than people think because the Fed is watching all of these trade negotiations that are not yet finished. You've got some at 10%, you've got some at 35%, some at 40%, and they're all moving around. And so until all of that gets worked out, if I were the Fed, I'd sit on my hands too.
Well, over the past 3 months, Kevin, manufacturing jobs are down 37,000. Federal government jobs, we know those are down more than 47,000. We know that the president is again today attacking Jerome Powell. From your perspective, where does the blame lie right now?
Fed bashing has been a part of every administration, every president, and the market completely ignores it because the Fed has an independence mandate. It always will. And so it doesn't matter. I mean, what Trump may be doing with Powell is beating him up so much, Fed bashing so much, that he gets concerned about raising rates, let alone putting them down. You just don't know what's going to happen next in terms of inflation when you have so much instability on tariffs. I'm not saying that'll be the case, but imagine if you're Powell, you get beaten up every day, one way or another. He let him wear a hard hat the last time they were together. I mean, it was ludicrous what we saw there, but that's just the nature of how it works. I don't even look at that noise, and nor do most investors, because you know, Trump is well within his rights to bash the Fed. Every president bashes the Fed, but it never works. It's just great politics. It makes everybody believe that Trump is on their side to get their mortgage rates down, but there's nothing Trump himself can do about it because he needs the absolute board of the Fed to make a majority decision to reduce rates, and they're just not going to do it. There were only 2 of the entire group that thought that they should reduce rates, and that's nothing. And so, you know, at the end of the day, does it matter? No.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.